I used the same method as I used in bodybuilding, I use now and applied it to acting.
Mm-hmm.
And I worked my ass off, I believed in myself, and I moved closer and closer, and every time someone said, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, I got one step closer, and eventually I was doing a Hercules movie, Hercules in New York, the comedy, that was like hilarious. But I was in front of the camera, and I was starring. And then there was Lucille Ball, called me a few years later and asked me to do Happy Anniversary and Goodbye, which was a TV show with Art Carney, a 2-hour TV show. She says, I want you to play the masseur in there. It's a 7-minute part. She says, if you do that well, says, everyone will know who you are. So I did it, and it became a huge hit. And then from there I got then Streets of San Francisco. Then I did Stay Hungry with Sally Fields and Jeff Bridges, Bob Raferson directing. Then we did Pumping Iron. Then I did The Villain with Kirk Douglas and with Anne Margaret, and things started picking up. Mm-hmm. And I started guest starring and co-starring with those guys. And then I did the Jane Mansfield story, where I played Mickey Haggiday, which was a Hungarian bodybuilder who had an accent just like me, because Hungary, Budapest, where he came from, and Vienna are very close together. It used to be the same empire, the Austrian-Hungarian Empire. Mm-hmm. So they used to belong together. So he married Jane Mansfield. So now they wanted me to do the Jane Mansfield, so I played Mickey Haggiday. And he was delighted. He was still alive at that time. He was delighted that I'm playing him. Mm-hmm. So now I'm having this starring role on a major TV show with Lonnie Anderson, who was the biggest TV star, female TV star at that time. And so this is how then I was doing Conan the Barbarian. Mm-hmm. So everything that they said that would be impossible all of a sudden changed. And when they asked John Milius, the director of Conan the Barbarian, how did you get to the idea to have Schwarzenegger star in Conan the Barbarian? I mean, the last movie you did was The Wind and the Lion with John Connery and with Candice Bergen. Now you're hiring Schwarzenegger? Are you kidding me? What kind of a leap is that? And he says, if we wouldn't have had Schwarzenegger, we would have had to build one, because Conan was a heroic guy the way Frank Frazetta painted him. Mm-hmm. So to do justice to that, the only one that was around was Schwarzenegger. And he was an actor at the same time. So I was so happy to find someone with a body like that. So exactly what they said is going to backfire on me was an asset. Mm-hmm. And the same thing was also with Terminator, when they asked Jim Cameron, what made Terminator go through the roof and become so popular? And he says, well, I'll be honest with you, is besides Arnold's body, it was his accent. Mm-hmm. He says, because he talks like a machine. He says, and that made it believable. He says, with his body, the way when he came out of this thing and we saw him there naked on top of Los Angeles looking down, he says, we saw that this is not a regular body that we're seeing on the screen. This is a machine. And then when we heard him talk, that confirmed that he was a machine. He says, that's what sold the thing. It was totally... So now all of a sudden, they said the body and the accent, the very thing that they said would not work, all of a sudden worked. So those are the kind of things. So I just applied the same rules with positivity, but as I said, the key thing is that we know where we are going. No matter how difficult it is, we got to know where we're going, because I don't know if you've seen people that, foreigners that come over to Hollywood, and you see them getting off the bus, the tourist bus, mm-hmm. and then they get to the intersection, and then they kind of like, they look around. Kind of like, where should I start? Look at all the shops. Oh my God, this is all. Guys, where's everyone going? Where Should we cross the in the so this is so they don't know what to do. So this is what a huge amount of people have that look.
In
Not
life.
to look for the next store. This is just a symbolic thing. But in reality, about life, they say, should I go to college? Should I go and join a football team? Should I train? Should I meet up with my friends? Should I go to another country, another state? You got to have a vision. Because as soon as you have a vision and as soon as you have a goal, which means you have to be really in touch with your passion and what is inside rather than just keep looking at that iPad and at that iPhone and checking out what everyone else is doing. Well, you're not going to get an idea what everyone else is doing. No, you have to find out what you are going to do. Forget about everyone else. Let's find out what you're going to do. And so this is why I say, find your passion, find the place where you want to go, no matter how difficult it is, and it makes it fun then to chase after that vision. And, so to me, what I did here with the book Be Useful is I talk about those things because if you can do everything else, you can work your ass off and you can be a good person, you can save you money, and you can do all of this stuff, but if you don't know where you're going, you're going to fail. Imagine that a team of planes are taking off from the aircraft carrier. They're out. Great scene, right? We always see it in Top Gun and stuff like that. It's the only way we got to go and see it. Ordinary folks like us, right? And then say, now imagine you say stop, freeze frame. Planes are hanging out there in the air. And now they say, but they don't know where to go and what to do.
Yeah.
Do you think this is going to be a successful mission? No. It's over. It's over. No matter how sophisticated that airplane is, no matter how well the people worked on the deck to get those planes out there, which is a miracle how they do that. But if they don't know, if the pilots don't know what to do after they take off, and they all go in different directions, and no one is in sync. So this is what your life is like if you take off and you don't know where you're going. And it starts already in high school. It starts way back because we got to know when we go to college. It's wonderful to go to college. But if you don't know why you go to college, don't go. Go and become an apprentice in some other kind of a field, like I did. I was an apprentice as a salesman. And I went to college later on when I figured it out what I want to do. But I mean, it's like you got to know. I've had kids that would go to college and say, "What do you study?" I say, I study English." I said, "What's wrong with the English?" Nothing. It's just something that I can use for anything later on because I don't know yet what am I studying. I said, "What the fuck is that? You're 18 years old and you don't know what you want to do later on in life. Well, how long is it going to take you to figure that one out? You got to know. Do you want to be a lawyer? I mean, my nephew, Patrick Knapp. I sat down with his daughter. She says, "I would like to go to USC." I said, "That's fantastic." I say, "I help any way I can." I said, make sure they have all A's. If a 4.0 average, obviously you can't get in. I said, well, "What do you want to study there?" She says, "I want to study business and get myself ready for law because as soon as I'm graduated, I want to go there to law school. I want to be an entertainment lawyer." Wow. Do you know how much joy I had that there was an 18-year-old, she was not yet 18, but an almost 18-year-old girl that figured it out. And in her eyes, when you saw her eyes, how excited she was that she's going to go to college and she's going to graduate after 4 years in business, and then she's going to become a lawyer. And not only just a lawyer, like floating around, entertainment lawyer, like my dad. That now we're talking. So this is what I'm talking about. It just makes it for her journey from now on, finishing her high school this year and then going to college. It's going to be so much fun because she knows where she's going. So that's what I'm talking about.
And it's like the vision that you had dictated to you the work you were going to have to do. Because there's some people that have a vision, but they don't want to do the work.
Well, but here's the thing, that if you have a very clear vision and you're absolutely convinced and have the faith in your vision, then all the work that you need to do becomes easier because there's a purpose for it. You see what I'm saying? Because what is the worst thing is, you know how many people are in the gym and they're sitting on the life cycle and they do the life cycle. I said, let me ask you, why are you training? And they say, oh, my doctor said that I need to lose some weight. Well, that's no goal. A goal is if you say, this summer, I'm going to be 20 pounds lighter, and I'm going to have a six-pack, and I'm going to have some muscle separation and stuff like that, and I'm going to have the chicks all freak out when they see this body. Now, it sounds stupid, the goal, but it works. It works. So you have to have a specific goal, whatever it is, how crazy it is. So for someone to go and every day write the life cycle because the doctor told them to is not good. That person has to kind of sit down and see themselves in a better shape, see themselves on the beach, and see the people around them looking over and say, look at this guy. Look at this, can you believe that? Son of a bitch is showing off his fucking six-pack. Son, look at that. So that's the vision you should have, how people are jealous. And maybe even someone is trying to kick sand in your face, and you just bury his face under the sand. Right? I mean, all this stuff it's all stupid visions, but they work. They work. This is why Charles Atlas was so successful with his kicking sand in the face, because it's the most basic thing, and it worked, and he sold hundreds of millions of courses because of that same kind of image that people had. So there was a goal to shoot for. I'm going to be next year on the beach, and I'm going to be so muscular, and then all the girls are going to come by and say, oh, I want him. It's a crazy stuff, but it works.
Yeah.
So this is why I say, have a vision.